Hey folks, how's it going? This is Dan, the World Traveler. I want to talk to you today about Panama, the country in Central America. I'm sure we've all heard of it, but some of us are fortunate enough to have gone there, and I'm one of those people. So today I'm going to talk. This is October. This video is being made in October of 2025. I went to Panama in March of 2024. It's quite an enjoyable experience. Got to practice my Spanish for sure. And my Spanish is not wonderful. I'm not fluent by any means. However, I enjoyed a chance to go to a Spanish-speaking country and practice it for sure. So this was a trip I took in March of 2024. I flew into San Jose, Costa Rica first. I spent a full day in Costa Rica, made a video about that. And then after a full day in Costa Rica, I flew from San Jose, Costa Rica to Panama City, Panama. Panama is quite big, quite a bit bigger than San Jose, Costa Rica. And there is possible to, there's a fun thing people do sometimes. They take a bus from San Jose, Costa Rica to Panama City, Panama. I would love to have done that. I just didn't have the time. I didn't have the time. And, the bus, sometimes, in Central America, I've seen this happen. Buses, they're late, or they have mechanical problems, or there's a tree that falls in the way, or something happens. I could not afford to be in a position where I was not on time because I had time constraints. But I was in Panama for 2 days. Very enjoyable. Landed in Panama City, Tocumen Airport. I want to say a few words about the airport in Panama City. A lot of times I fly overseas, I land in the airport, and I go straight away to, usually 9 times out of 10, I just go straight to the train or the subway or what have you, and go straight to takes you right lickety-split to the downtown area, and I go get in my hostel. Find my hostel, I settle in, and easy peasy. Panama City, I cannot exactly say this. So basically, and this was, a year and a half ago, maybe things have changed, but I will say this. I landed in Panama City. I got out of the airport, and I was looking, okay, guys, where's the train? Where's the subway? How do I get downtown? And there was, plenty of, places to get an Uber or a Lyft or, some sort of transportation that way. But finding just the regular subway or just the train that the people use, that was a challenge. I had to really look for it, and I had to really be creative about how I found the train and the subway. It was not evident, in my opinion. So just kind of be ready for that if you ever go to Panama and you want to, be cheap and not pay a lot of money and use public transportation to get from the airport to the city center. Just be ready for a little bit of a challenge potentially. Just kind of be ready for that. I will say this: once I did find the public transportation, it was dirt cheap. I mean, I think I paid all of a couple bucks to go from the airport to downtown Panama City. So once I found it, it was cheap. So there was that good news. And people are quite friendly. I didn't find any hostile people in Panama. They're quite friendly people. They helped me. The people there, just regular random people, helped me get from one place to another on the subway. So I got to downtown Panama City, got my hostel. The hostel was, $15 a night. Pretty darn good. And there was free breakfast in the morning. So usually, this happens when I go to, South America, Central America. When I stay in hostels, they're not expensive. $15 a night, free breakfast, and there was a swimming pool there. So it was, and I slept pretty good. I will say this: sometimes this happens in places like Panama. The day I was there, and maybe I was there when the government or something happened in the country where there was no water for a day, and they had the people in the hostel coped with it very well. They were able to store water, and we were able to have drinking water. But if you wanted to have a shower, you had to just jump in the pool and dry off there. You couldn't get a regular shower. So just kind of be ready for stuff like that. If you ever go to Panama, here in the United States, usually, we don't have just, the entire water system in California is shut down, or the entire water system in Indiana is shut down for a day. That, we don't have that happen in the United States of America. But so in Panama that, and maybe it doesn't happen that much in Panama either. Maybe I was just there the one day it happened, but just kind of be ready for stuff like that potentially. So Panama City, Panama. If you don't know, Panama City is on the Pacific Ocean, and I hung out in Panama City quite a bit. But I also wanted to see the Atlantic Ocean. I wanted the experience of going from one ocean to the other in a day, and I certainly did that. And it is possible. I took a bus, cost me all of $3 each way, so $6 total. And I went from Panama City. I found the bus station there, the main bus station in Panama City, and I took that bus to Colon, Panama, which Colon, Panama. If you've never, it's on the Atlantic Ocean. If you've never been there, it's an interesting place for sure. But I was there for a little bit. I saw the Atlantic Ocean, and I said, okay, well, I've been here long enough to say that I was in Colon, Panama, on the Atlantic Ocean. And I got right back on the bus and went back to Panama City. So that is possible. To do that, it's definitely possible to go from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Ocean and get back on the same day. I mean, it's basically, it's like going from, I don't know, it's not a short, it's about 45 minutes, 45 miles from one ocean to the other, or approximately. So it takes about an hour on a bus. But some things I want to say about the Panama Canal. I did go to the Panama Canal. That's why a lot of people go to Panama in the first place, is to go to check out the canal. So of course I went there. I was able to get there on public transportation. Believe it or not, a lot of people use an Uber or Lyft or something. I use public transportation. It worked just fine. And it was, I think I paid approximately $17 to get into the center there, where they show people the Panama Canal, where the ships pass and whatnot. If you go to the Panama Canal and you want to see where the ships pass, I think it's called the Miraflores Locks. I believe, I could be wrong, but that's, I think, where I was, the Miraflores Locks. You get up there and you look at the ships passing. Prepare yourself for this. It gets a little crowded there. It gets a little crowded and maybe not so easy to take pictures. So just be ready for that. It's a lot of people in a kind of a small space, and they make a whole thing of it. They show you a movie, and they kind of entertain you. They do a good job. So you get a lot for $17, in my opinion. And so it's a good time. But Panama, like I said, the people are nice. I didn't have any bad interactions when I was in Panama. The people are quite nice, and we've already talked about the currency. You don't have to worry about going to the bank and getting Panamanian currency, because it's American money. It's just the coins are different. And I already said that. Anyway, I think we've talked about everything here. Be ready for sometimes it rains a lot in Panama. Be ready for that potential. I got all scared because I looked at the weather reports that said I was going to be full on rain, thunderstorms the whole time I was there. I ended up getting really lucky. I didn't feel one drop of rain, so I was able to get around Panama just fine. So I got lucky, but just be ready for that. Humidity, rain, bring an umbrella, and be ready for that, for the humidity in Panama. With that said, Panama was a wonderful experience. It's a wonderful country, great people. I didn't have any hostile interactions with Panamanian people. They're quite helpful. Obviously I got to practice my Spanish. So anyway, to the people of Panama, thank you for receiving me for 2 days. Dan, the World Traveler, have a great day. Thank you.